Final game in the battle for the Ohio Cup here tonight. The Reds are trying to even it up at 3 apiece after the Indians broke the tie with a win here last night. They've won the first 2 games of this series. And round 3, the final round, coming up in minutes. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh and Jeff Pecoro, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball. You know, every year they vote on a most outstanding player in this Ohio Cup series. Maybe with even not coming to the plate tonight, they ought to just give it to Jose Ramirez.
I think they ought to give it to the bus driver that'll drive this team out of town, because I think the Reds are ready to say goodbye to the Indians. Jose Ramirez, man, he has been a one-man wrecking crew. The average that he has had against the Reds this year, over 400. He's had 5 home runs. It seems like every time he steps to the plate, he's hitting the ball hard, if not out of the ballpark. They haven't figured out a way to get this guy out.
The 5 home runs, and of course he's having a monster year. He has 36 of those this season. Robert Stevenson was having a very good year at AAA Louisville. Former #1 pick, a native of California. His first start was not a good one against the New York Mets 5 days ago.
I'll give him a little bit of a pass because he's probably a little bit nervous out there making his first start of the year and all that. But, you know, he's got to seriously improve the way he goes about pitching to big leaguers, because pitching backwards the way he has and not worrying about bases on balls are simply going to get him into problems. He had 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. That never works at the big league level. The one problem that you have coming up from AAA, even if you're a good pitcher down there, the strike zones here are smaller and the hitters don't chase. He's got to throw the ball over the plate and attack the hitters tonight.
Meanwhile, his mound opponent, a rookie who made his debut this year, having a good year, Shane Bieber.
Well, he was only drafted in 2016. He was a very good college pitcher, and ever since he hit the minor leagues with the Indians, he has really taken off. He's got some of the best command of any young pitcher you will see, have the best command of any minor leaguer out there. That's why he's pitching into big leagues right now. Also why he's got 6 wins and only 2 losses.
All right, when we come back, Stevenson will try and shut this team down right from the get-go, because this lineup with Cleveland, they will hit you hard and hit you hard early. Jeff Pecoro has more on that when we come back.
And our award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealers. By Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. And by Buick.
Hey there, Reds fans. I'm Local 12 News meteorologist John Gum. We've already seen some rain moving through the Cincinnati area a little bit earlier this evening. Yeah, the chance for a couple of showers passing over the ballpark, but I'm hopeful we've got a window to get this one in tonight without any big issues. Temperatures are going to be in the 70s throughout the evening. Enjoy the game here on Fox Sports Ohio.
All right, back here at the ballpark, Jeff Pecora. It is dripping just a little bit. We're going to play baseball tonight, though. I'll tell you what, the first inning has been a key inning for both of these teams. Last night, the Indians jumped out to a 4-0 lead on the Reds. They had 4 hits. They also got 2 walks in that first inning. Why is it so important? The Indians in the first inning have scored 92 runs this year. That's the second most in all of Major League Baseball, and the Reds have given up 88 runs. That's 4th most in Major League Baseball as well. So you've got to shut down the Tribe in the first inning, and it's their top 3 hitters that are the most dangerous. Francisco Lindor, 9 doubles in the first. That's tied for the most in Major League Baseball. Look at Brantley's average at 383, and Jose Ramirez, well, he's on track for maybe an MVP season. 12 homers and 32 RBI. All of those are in the first inning. That's the most in Major League Baseball. So shutting down the Tribe in the first is going to be a big deal for Robert Stevenson tonight. And the Reds need a win in the worst way. They need to split the series with the Indians and the Ohio Cup. And that man right there, you've got to hold him in check.
'26 until February. He's already in a part of his 3rd Major League season, and tonight his 2nd start of this year, the 21st start of his Major League career. The lineup he'll be facing, and man, are they rolling. Lindor at short, Brantley in left with Ramirez at 3rd, Alonso, Cabrera, and Kipnis in the middle. Greg Allen, Roberto Perez starts for the first time behind the plate, and on the mound is the rookie Shane Bieber. Stevenson had incredible numbers in the minor leagues this year, an 11-6 record, ERA at 2.87. Ranked among the International League's leaders in wins, strikeouts, ERA. Opponents hit 184 against him. His first start of this year, he could not find the plate. In fact, he walked the opposing pitcher with the bases loaded in that start, a loss against the Mets. So here's Francisco Lindor. And the first thing you notice as we're underway strike one is Stevenson basically is pitching out of the stretch position.
Well, he made that transition down in the minor leagues just to try to eliminate some of the superfluous motion sometimes the pitchers begin to add on when they pitch out of the windup. You want to keep things simple as possible, especially if you're a pitcher that has had a hard time finding the strike zone in your career. And Stevenson is that guy, but he was able to do that in the minor leagues. That's why he's here right now. And how about that? 3 fastballs in a row for Stevenson. That's a trend that he did not have when he pitched against the Mets. He basically came up and threw a lot of breaking pitches, sliders, curveballs, and changeups.
2 balls and a strike. Well, he couldn't throw the fastball when he did throw it for a strike.
Well, I mean, eventually you have to figure on throwing your fastball. I mean, even if you're a guy that's going to survive with your other pitches, you have to show him the fastball at some point, at least the fact that you can throw it in the strike zone and in a good part of the strike zone. And I'm glad to see him attacking the hitters right now early on with that fastball.
Three balls and 2 strikes on Lindor, a .293 batter, having a great year. 29 home runs, 74 knocked in, a double away from 40 of those already this year is Lindor. And it's ball 4 to begin the game. I mean, Stevenson will make you want to think about drinking decaf. This guy is non-stop movement, twitching, moving, shaking. He's non-stop out there on the mound. Lindor has 19 stolen bases. He's been thrown out 7 times. And now Michael Brantley, a .300 batter, 13 home runs, 63 runs batted in. Came after him with a fastball in the first pitch, strike 1.
I'm wondering, Tom, and I didn't find out this ahead of time. I doubt that the Reds would have told me this, but whether Stevenson is now being told basically you throw what Tucker Barnhart puts down as a sign. Ultimately, you know, if you're a veteran pitcher, you select what you're going to throw. No one tells you that you feel with one pitch better than another. But when you're a young guy coming up, you know, sometimes you need to have that part of the game and the responsibility of that taken away from you so that you don't have to worry about it. Barnhart knows the scouting report. Let him make the call, and then all you've got to do is deliver the pitch. Sometimes that really is very helpful.
0-1 on Brantley, 13 home runs, 63 knocked in, 29 doubles. And that changeup misses up and away, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Michael Brantley. Finally healthy again for the first time really in 3 years since he had that incredible 2015 season. But has missed a lot of time over the last couple of years. Had a very, very bad shoulder injury which required surgery that led into last season. But now able to get out there every day and play and putting up the kind of numbers you would expect from this very talented Cleveland left fielder. And there's a rocket off the glove of Peraza. And Lindor will advance on to second base. So a walk and a liner.
It's too bad right there. Hard hit, yes, but it looked like Peraza had that ball and just didn't get up high enough to be able to put the entire glove on it.
That appeared to be knuckling out there to him a little bit.
It could have been. I mean, it was hit awfully hard.
So trouble brewing right from the get-go. A leadoff walk, a line drive single, and here comes Ramirez, who right now is right near the top, if not at the top, to becoming the American League's most valuable player here in 2018. Second most home runs, leads the league in stolen bases. 36 home runs, 89 runs batted in, and a .305 batter is Jose Ramirez. look out here. 2 balls and no strikes. Ball 3. Hit down the right field line, didn't hit it a ton. In fact, probably not enough to get it out of here had it stayed fair. He's trying to become just the 4th player to ever lead his league in both home runs and stolen bases. And we mentioned the last guy to do it. You've got to go all the way back to 1932, the Hall of Famer Chuck Klein.
Wow.
One behind J.D. Ramirez, who has 37 home runs to lead the American League. High fly ball into deep right center field. Hamilton will make the catch in front of the wall. And Lindor was halfway between second and third base. So the runners stay put, 1 out in the inning on a long, loud out.
Long and loud, but an out, and that's exactly what Robert Stevenson needs, maybe to take a little of the internal pressure off him. You know, if you put yourself in his shoes, I mean, you pitch a series of really great games down in AAA. You come up, you're facing the Mets, and it just all comes apart for you. You walk 5, you can't get your pitches over the plate. You walk the pitcher with the bases loaded, and then you've got to sit for just about an entire week to wait for your time to come around again. You can put some pressure on yourself in the meantime. And the easiest way to get out from underneath that self-induced pressure is to get a couple of outs and try to get back to just pitching baseball rather than worrying about your status in the major leagues.
Yonder Alonso with a ball 1 count. Runners at first and second with 1 away. And that almost hit Alonso. 2 balls and no strikes. It's 2 batters in a row now where Stevenson has fallen behind at 2-0. He went to 3-0 on Ramirez, who swung at a 3-0 pitch and fouled it off, and then the 3-1 fly ball to the wall in right center. Two balls and a strike to Yonder Alonso, former #1 pick. Very nice piece done in the pregame show today about Alonso and his upbringing during Reds Live. I'm sure many of you enjoyed it. Just a terrific young man, and boy, think the world of his mom and dad, and have so much incredible respect for their journey and how hard they worked once coming to the United States from Cuba. Fastball high, or changeup rather, 3 balls and 1 strike on Alonso.
Actually, that piece, a lot of it, Tom, came from a Reds Live piece from 2011. Really nice young man. He has etched out a very fine major league career.
All of a sudden found the power stroke the last couple of years. His first 6 seasons in the big leagues, he had a total of 39 home runs. He has hit 48 just in the last year and a half.
I think that's a trend among a lot of hitters, though. You know, they're trying to lift the ball. They're trying to increase their bat speed. They're trying to make sure that their swing angle is such that when you do meet the ball in the barrel of the bat, that it's going to go in the air a long way, and it certainly has done that. And that home run number that you see between 2017 and 18 is one reason why he's here in Cleveland right now. They like these left-handed mashers that can leave the yard.
3 balls and 2 strikes, 2 on and 1 out. Struck him out for the 2nd out of the inning. Good pitch here.
Well, it's a slider that really goes down very nicely for him. Good fast arm action. Got Alonso out in front a little bit. Awkward swing, strikeout. That ought to give you a little bit of confidence, Robert.
Now Melky Cabrera. Dangerous hitter, had 3 hits and 4 at-bats in the game here last night. Scored a run, knocked in a run.
Cabrera is so committed to using the entire field. You know, he's a veteran guy. He's in his upper 30s. He's been around a lot of different ballparks, a lot of different teams. The one thing he'll do now is he'll hit the ball the other way. That's what he did against Romano twice. And you got to make sure that if you're going outside, you get the ball down.
And the outfield shades him that way. Off speed on back-to-back pitches to start this at bat to get ahead at 0-2.
That's the splitter. Looks like a fastball. Sinks like an off-speed pitch.
Take a look at the Reds on defense presented by Ford. Big night last night for Preston Tucker. Swung the bat very, very well, so he's back in there again tonight. Suarez, Peraza, Jeanette, Votto along the infield, and Barnhart giving Robert Stevenson the signs. Inning started with a walk and a single, but since a fly ball to the wall and a strikeout, and now Stevenson trying to get through this first inning. This will be his 24th pitch without giving up a single run. And 2 has become 2-2. And now Stevenson okays a sign from Tucker Barnhart. Struck him out to end the inning. A hit, 2 left. Reds are coming up when we return. Followed by Votto and Suarez, and Jeanette in a cleanup spot. Tucker, after that good game last night, all the way up to the 5-hole, and Barnhart catching. A ladder third of Phillip Urban, Robert Stevenson, and Billy Hamilton. And it has been an excellent professional career. Finally rising to the major leagues for the first time this year for right-hander Shane Bieber.
Well, he hasn't been around very long, I can tell you that. He was drafted in 2016, and here in 2018, he's already got 8 decisions in the major leagues. 11 starts, 12th tonight, 6-2 with a calling card that says that he's around the plate. He throws his fastball for strikes, not only for strikes, but commands it to different parts of the zone. Has a curveball, slider, and changeup.
A year ago, he went from single A to high A to double A. That ball lined into right center field, a base hit for Peraza, and it'll go all the way to the wall. And Peraza will pull in with a leadoff double. Good way to get it started.
Well, Peraza, just like about every other one of the Reds hitters, is very happy that Corey Kluber can't pitch back-to-back nights. He took an 0 for 3 last night. Brandon Dixon batted in his spot the 4th time up, and he was 0 for. So Peraza turns things around here with his first at bat with a base hit, a ringing double into right center field.
That'll be Joey Votto, who hits at .287, 9 home runs, 55 batted in. Votto 1 hit in the first 2 games of this series. And he goes around for strike 1.
Really interesting to watch Votto right here. You know, he's had a knee injury, got hit in the leg in that Washington series by Ryan Madson, right on the knee. He missed 4 games or so, but even when he's come back now, he just does not seem like he's got the strength and the foundation underneath him. Right across the top of the zone.
Well, the one thing you notice already, and we're told that when they brought Bieber to the major leagues, they said, look, we want you basically joined at the hip with Corey Kluber. And we showed you how calm and how composed and how together on the mound in every way. His actions on the mound, his wind up. Chris talked about how still his head is. And that's one of the first things that jumps out at you with Bieber already. I mean, this is the 12th start of his major league career.
Well,
and this guy looks like he's been around a while.
Well, he didn't learn all that this year, I can tell you that. He must have had some pretty good coaching coming up because he's got a very nice, easy, repeatable delivery. There's the curveball.
Well, look, he might give up 7 runs in the first 2 innings tonight. We're not suggesting that that makes him the best pitcher on the planet, but you just watch him and how cool he is out there on the mound. So he goes single A, high A, double A last year. This year, he started the season at double A Akron. They moved him up to triple A Columbus and then brought him to the major leagues the final day of May. Check swing and a foul ball.
It just so happened, Tom, that he made his major league debut on his birthday.
And that was the beginning of a run where he did not allow a single run, not one, in his first 4 major league starts. 22 innings of scoreless baseball.
Not too many pitchers can say that.
Straight away center field. That ball's hit a long way. Allen continued to drift and up against the wall, and now Peraza will get back to the bag. Here he comes, and the throw is not going to be in time. So a productive out for Joey, and Peraza stands at third with 1 out in the inning.
The ball just kept carrying and carrying. It looked like the launch angle, Tom, it was basically straight up in the air. And as soon as the runner feels like the fielder's going to field that ball, get on back to the bag and get the third. Look at Ramirez trying to push Peraza off the bag a little bit. Little gamesmanship down there. Got to like that. I don't know if he, I don't know what he got. He's got a little knot on his shin.
All right, so now the leading run producer in this Reds lineup, 88 driven in this season, second most in the league behind Javier Baez, who has 89, is Eugenio Suarez, strike 1. And what I mentioned about Bieber a moment ago, I was talking about his season this year in the minor leagues, not allowing a run in his first 4 starts, not at the big league level. I want to make sure I clarified that.
Well, he pitched pretty well down the minor leagues to get the call up, but what really made it happen for him is that he pitched a rain-shortened 7-inning no-hitter for the Columbus Clippers on May the 25th. 6 days later, he makes his major league debut on his birthday.
Well, that's a wicked breaking ball right there to get ahead of Suarez with 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's allowed 2 or fewer walks in each of his first 11 career starts. That's the second longest streak by an Indian starting pitcher to begin his career, going all the way back to the early 1900s. So this guy, as Chris mentioned, will throw a pile of strikes. And he has just struck out Suarez with a runner at third for the second out of the inning. The Indians behind him on defense, presented by Ford. It's the exact same lineup we've seen everywhere in the first 3 games of this series, except for Roberto Perez in place of Yan Gomes. This offense for the Indians in the first 2 games of this series, 18 runs and 18 hits. What would you change? Of course, Scooter Gennett's been mighty good this year. Driving in runs with 2 outs in an inning. First pitch fastball to strike 1 on the outside corner. And here you're looking at a guy in Bieber, much like we saw with Corey Kluber last night. That fastball is not going to do much more than 92, 93. He'll pitch right around there, 91 pretty much the entire night. But such an assortment of pitches that he'll throw virtually in any count. Back-to-back fastballs, and that one called a ball.
Ultimately, the name of the game is command. You know, I've said this many times. I think it's harder to pitch now in the major leagues than it's ever been. The bats are harder. The strike zones are smaller. They've got more information on you than ever before. You've got to be able to command your pitches.
1 ball and 1 strike on Scooter. Peraza, the runner at third. And it's fouled off out of play. He's coming right after Gennett. 3 straight fastballs in this at bat. Tucker hoping for a chance here in the opening inning of this scoreless game.
Well, what he's done in the past, and I watched a little video of Bieber today, Tom, is that he likes to get ahead with the fastball and then put him away with the breaking pitch. Either the big looping overhand curveball or that slider that he got Suarez on. Going upstairs here.
And this one muscled into right field, trying to get a fastball in on him. And Gennett a base hit, and the Reds are on the board. Boy, he's been so good. Driving in runs with 2 outs this year, by far the best on the team.
Maybe not quite high enough in the eyes of Scooter Gennett anyway, and I'm wondering if maybe they decided to try to run up the ladder on Gennett because his reputation for hitting the breaking ball is so good. They just didn't want to go there. They see if they could throw a high one by him.
Preston Tucker 2 for 2 last night. He also drew a walk. He only had 3 hits in his first 21 at-bats since coming over from Atlanta. And last night, by far his best game in a Reds uniform. Those are his overall numbers this season, including those with Atlanta. So a good start for the home team here in the bottom of the first inning, and it's not over quite yet. Good block there by Perez. 2 balls and no strikes on Tucker. Pretty much textbook right there.
Boy. He must have watched that tech talk we did with Tucker Barnhart or Mike Stefanski.
Stefanski, an excellent teacher.
He breaks it down as well as anybody I've ever been around.
And he goes about it in such a methodical way, does Stefanski. He's been around this organization a long time, former minor league player. Two and one on Preston Tucker. Started 2. Did he go on the appeal? He did not. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, they know Tucker's a pretty good fastball hitter, and that's why they really haven't given him a fastball on the zone to swing at. Given the way that Shane Bieber came right after Scooter Gennett, I'm thinking he's going to throw a strike with a fastball right here. Wants it low and away.
Well, it was low, but it was in. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Turned into a very, very pleasant night here tonight. We had some rain for a little over an hour, a couple of hours ago, and a short sprinkle right before we got started. We're hoping that Mother Nature's in a good mood the rest of the night. Indians will fly home after the game. They're only going home for 3 days and turn around and leave again. They have 4 such series this year where they come home for 3 days and then leave. That ball is drilled into right center field, and that ball is gone. The first home is a red by Tucker.
Preston Tucker could be a very interesting piece on your ball club because he can do exactly what he did right here. Hit a fastball. He's got a short swing. He's a strong guy. And he gets a 3-2 fastball after fouling one off and laces it right out of here. You know, you're always looking for a little thump on your bench. You're a manager, general manager, you're looking for a guy that can scare the opposition a little bit. And there's so many hard-throwing right-handed relievers out there that you want somebody that can turn on a heater and it can leave the ballpark.
That's why I remember so well, even though he was from the right-handed side of the plate, when you were so high on the arrival of Vladimir Valentin.
Tell you another guy could really hit a fastball coming out of the on-deck circle, and he proved it as a pinch hitter, Lenny Harris. I mean, that was the reason why he was such a superb pinch hitter. Got to be ready to hit it. Valentin was a guy, though, Tom, as you remember, boy, he had tremendous power going right center field. I tell you, you gave me the scouting report on him, and you were not wrong.
That ball is drilled by Barnhart. Cut off by Allen, but Tucker cruising into second base. Boy, they're making some solid contact here against Bieber.
Barnhart all of a sudden seems to have really come alive with the bat. He went through a little bit of a slump there for a while. They dropped him down in the order. He's gotten hot. And boy, he has come up with some big hits, and that double will bring out the pitching coach, Carl Willis, to the mound to talk to Shane Bieber. Bieber's coming off a really good outing against the White Sox. 6 innings, 6 2/3, no runs. But previous to that, Angels 5 2/3, only 2 runs. Then he had a couple of outings against Minnesota and Pittsburgh, and even before that, the Yankees, where they beat him around a little bit. So the Reds are beginning to figure out his offerings here early on tonight. Might be an early bullpen game here for the Indians.
Well, they had the great outing last night by Corey Kluber. 7 innings, allowed 1 run. They only got 5 out of Clevenger in game 1. No, he only allowed 2 runs, but threw a pile of pitches in those 5 innings. And now it's Phillip Urban. Breaking ball to strike. Urban in 21 games since they brought him up on the 20th of July has been a .357 batter with over a .400 slugging percentage, nearly a .600 slugging percentage. 2 doubles, or 2 homers, 5 doubles, and 13 runs batted in for Phillip Urban. started to pull the trigger and takes it for strike 2. Be the 30th pitch in the opening inning. Stevenson was right in that same neighborhood in the top of the inning. It's been a 30-minute first inning, which is still not over. To the right side, Kipnis will play it. But a great start for the Reds. They get 4 hits, starting with a double by Peraza. He would score on a big 2-out single by Scooter Gennett. And then behind him, Preston Tucker, a big crack of the bat, a 2-run home run. Feel real good for Stevenson heading back out there to the mound. Got out of trouble in the first inning after a walk and a base hit. He got a fly ball out that nearly left the ballpark and then fanned Alonso and Cabrera.
You know, the interesting thing there is that Stevenson, of the Reds pitchers that have thrown against the Indians in this series, you know, you had Homer Bailey and Sal Romano. Stevenson has that one pitch. It's very much like Bailey's splitter. But when that thing's working, that can be a very effective weapon against left-handers. Kind of acts almost like a left-handed curveball, goes slow down and away from him. And that's the grip that he gets on the baseball every time he initially puts it in his glove. Well, that's a pitch you really want to have if you're Robert Stevenson. I mean, call for a strike. Changes the entire at bat when you miss that pitch.
Kipnis to lead things off here in the Indians' second inning. Earlier today, the Cubbies even their series against the Brewers. They'll wrap that one up tomorrow. 8-4 Chicago beating Milwaukee today. So the Cubs 3 games in front of the Brewers and the streaking Cardinals, who won their 7th in a row last night.
Amazing.
They are now just 4 games out of first place. It really is amazing. 3-0 on Kipnis to open the second inning. And nowhere near the strike zone. Second walk already. Through the first 6 batters of the game.
You know, one of the things that pitching coaches stress about what they want to see out of their pitchers. Remember talking to Donnie Cooper when the White Sox came into town. We had Cooper on, did a little interview with him. And one of the things that he really stressed, and it reminded me of what a lot of pitching coaches told me, is that when your team scores the runs, that's the inning that you got to go down, and that's got to be a shutdown inning. Nothing changes the energy of an inning worse than a walk.
Here's Greg Allen, light hitting Cleveland center fielder. And that's a wild pitch. It'll advance Kipnis on to second base.
You know, it just seems to me sometimes when I watch Robert Stevenson that everything is effort level 100%. And if you put yourself in his shoes for a second, here's a kid who's probably the hardest thrower anywhere he ever played, in every league he ever played. And it's very difficult for a guy who was drafted in the first round by the Reds, 27th overall. He had 100 miles an hour a couple of times in the minor leagues. So that was his calling card. And it's hard for sometimes a guy like that to learn how to back off a little bit and pitch at 90%, where you can really begin to command your pitches. Because you always revert to what got you in the pros in the very first place. But that's a necessary step.
You know, but you look at the amount of energy, Chris, that he just uses between every pitch. I know, and I'm not picking here. I'm just saying, to watch him, it's like a whole routine that he goes through between every pitch and nonstop movement. That was the first time he's not gone to the rosin bag after every pitch so far in this game. And there's a base hit into center field. They're going to wave around Kipnis. Here comes the throw by Billy, and the runner is safe. Barnhart did not field that ball cleanly. Not sure they'd have had him anyway. But it's a 3-1 ball game on the base hit by Allen.
Well, the wild pitch put him into scoring position. And Allen gets a fastball pretty much belt high right there and puts a wood on it. Kipnis is not the fastest guy, and Billy Hamilton, I'll tell you, his throws are normally so accurate. That one accurate again, I don't think they're going to get him either way. The throw actually took Barnhart into the baseline a little bit, got tangled up with the runner. But that's the one thing that stands out about Hamilton, other than the fact that he catches everything that's in the air. His throws are just so true and so accurate.
So here's Roberto Perez, just a 161 batter, a home run, 8 runs batted in. Allen, a base stealing threat. He's not been thrown out all year long. He doesn't get on base a lot, but he's 9 for 9 when attempting to run, and that fastball almost hit Perez in the neck. One and 0 the count on Perez. Allen takes off, and a throw by Tucker is high, and he stole that base off Stevenson. Tucker really had no chance.
Well, he's got a lot of speed, Allen does. You've got to be able to, you know, it's interesting. If you watch veteran pitchers, when they get a base stealer on, they're able to speed up their windup a little bit. They're able to be more compact, quick to the plate. We ask ourselves a lot of time, why doesn't Billy Hamilton steal more bases? Well, because pitchers have gotten very quick with him on first base, and they're taking that away from him a lot. I mean, if you can get your time down to, you know, 1.05 to 1.15, something like that, from the time that you start to the plate and the ball gets to the catcher, it's going to be very hard to steal. Stevenson that time was not paying much attention to Allen.
What do you think Danny Darwin might have been sharing with Robert Stevenson?
Well,
there?
it was all about calming right there. Just trying to take some of the nervous Jervis out of the mound area right there and just have him just calm down a little bit.
All right, so a count of 2-0. And a broken bat fly ball into left field will back up Tucker. Tagging and coming to third is Allen. Here comes a throw, and it's not going to be in time. That is really good heads-up base running, even with a pitcher coming up. That's good base running there by Allen.
Well, especially with the pitcher coming up, really. So now if you're Terry Francona, you have some options up there that, you know, you may bunt him if he's at second base. You may bunt him if he's at third. Mike Sauerbaugh is the third base coach. He's going to call Bieber in and tell him exactly what he's to do. They're not going to mess around with a suicide squeeze sign and then a return sign or anything like that. It could be, hey, you know, we're not going to squeeze you here. It could be squeeze on the second pitch.
All right, Bieber waiting, and he takes ball one.
Fourth batter in this inning that he's not been able to throw the first pitch to. In for a strike.
Two and 0. Three and 0.
Got to have a poker face to be a manager.
It's a 4-pitch walk to the opposing pitcher. That'll bring up Francisco Lindor. He walked. So the first time through the batting order, Stevenson has walked 3 batters. Breaking ball in there. Strike one to Lindor. Reds already have action in their bullpen. The left-hander Cody Reid. Getting loose in the bullpen. Lindor chasing down and away there, and Stevenson gets ahead at no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you know, the encouraging thing there is that you can see that awkward swing by Lindor, so that when Stevenson does find the right release point for that splitter, it can be a pretty good pitch, very deceptive. Coming with the slider here, we're going to see if he chases down and in.
Runners are on the corners with 1 away. We're in the 2nd inning. 44th pitch of the game already by Stevenson. 1 out. What a block that was by Barnhart. We saw Perez in textbook form in the bottom of the 1st inning, and we see this regularly from Tucker Barnhart.
It's like a catching clinic here tonight.
That one swung on and dropped foul out of play. One ball and 2 strikes to Lindor. And now the count even at 2-2.
I got to figure he's going to go back to that, either the splitter or the slider, the pitches that got Lindor down in the count in the very beginning. Just unable to throw the fastball anywhere near where he wants to. Here comes the changeup or the splitter, same pitch.
Popped up third base side, and again that will fall 4 rows behind the Indians dugout. That ball hit down the right field line towards the corner. Didn't get much of it. That was off the end of the bat, it looked like. And that young fella pretty fired up, as he should be. What's that sweatshirt he has on there? Might be some high school team or something. State playoffs? Hard to tell. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And another foul ball chipped his bat, in fact. So Lindor will need a new piece of lumber. What's amazing, he made contact with that pitch at all. 51st pitch coming up. And this will be the 11th pitch in this at bat alone against Lindor. Stevenson in his first start, we mentioned he lasted 4 innings. Gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, 5 walks. He threw 76 pitches in the 4 innings of that game. He is far ahead of that pace here in the 2nd inning tonight. 2-2 again to Lindor. There'll be a 12th pitch in this at bat.
Well, without being able to stand Lindor up with a fastball, or have in the back of Lindor's mind the fact that he might dial it up here at 94 and throw it past me, Lindor's going to be a very tough guy to get out, because he's getting zoned in on the speed of this off-speed stuff. Maybe time to try to sneak a heater by him. That's what Barnhart wants. Wants it in, out, nope. Stevenson shakes him to the off-speed pitch.
Little number down to Votto, and they'll take the out at first. A 2nd run in the inning will score. So that's a good battle, and a battle won by Stevenson there. But the ground ball out plates a 2nd run in the inning. On to 2nd goes Bieber, and it's a 3-2 Cincinnati lead. So here's Michael Brantley. He hit that line drive that appeared to have a lot of either top spin on it or was knuckling its way right at Peraza, who was unable to handle the line drive. It went as a base hit. It was really hit hard. Runner out at 2nd base with 2 away, and it's 1-0 on Brantley.
I'll tell you who this is really tough on is your fielders. You know, you've commented before, Tom, in innings where pitchers are having a hard time throwing the ball over the plate. You just look around at the body language of the defense. They have a tendency to get back on their heels. They just don't make the kind of plays for you. When they don't know that the ball is going over the plate or not, they can't get ready to make a defensive play.
And they're standing out there for nearly 60 pitches. And we're not even through 2 innings yet. It's only natural. It's human nature. Do the best you can to stay alert and stay on your toes, but 60 pitches in 2 innings is 60 pitches in 2 innings. 3-1. And there's going to be probably more than that, because there's ball 4, and that is already the 4th walk in this game. And that's it. Jim Riggleman's seen enough. After all the incredible numbers at the AAA level this season, and here Stevenson is getting a shot once again, and he's going to get a shot according to the front office for the remainder of this year. 4 innings his first start, walks 5. He goes an inning and 2/3 in his second start and walks 4. This will be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. We'll be back. Having such a great year in the minor leagues, and you know, some felt like he was down there too long based on the way he was pitching, and now he comes up, Chris, and wow. So now another highly touted prospect, at one time anyway, in the Red system takes over on the mound, and that's a left-hander, Cody Reid. We've seen Reid one side of the bullpen since they brought him up.
You know, and when Reid first came to the major leagues, he had his share of problems throwing the ball over the plate, and evidently conquered that quite a bit down in the minor leagues. You hope that Reid can come out and do the kind of job that Michael Lorenzen did for the ball club last night.
Great job.
Give him some extra innings out there, and I would think that Reid would be a perfect guy for that, because being left-handed would set him up pretty well against a number of these left-handed hitters, although Ramirez, a switch hitter, power from both sides of the plate.
Hit the other way into the air, so good work by Cody Reid. He comes in to get the final out of the inning. Cleveland scores 2.
$99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. And now it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Big game today out west. It was the Mariners and the A's, top of the 12th. D. Gordon, a 2-run homer. You're thinking, okay, it's D. Gordon. Yeah, it ended a streak of 435 at-bats without a home run. It was the longest in baseball by almost 180 at-bats. His last home run came April 1st, the third day of the season versus Cleveland. They avoided the sweep by the A's. They won it 2-0. By the way, Mike Leake started that game through 8 shutout innings, gentlemen.
All righty, pick. Thank you very much. That's going to be some kind of battle going down to the end of the year, because all of a sudden the Astros can't buy a win. They've lost 5 in a row. And the team that has been taking it to them the last couple of days, the Colorado Rockies. Rockies have won 4 straight. They're 1 game behind the front-running Diamondbacks in the National League West. Cody Reid will back.
That's amazing.
So Bieber was on that bench for a long time during the top half of the second inning. And of course, he spent part of it on the base pass. He drew a walk and was stranded to end the inning as Reed has gone on strike, second of the game for Bieber, and 1 away here in the bottom of the second
I'm
inning.
wondering, Tom Brenneman, if there's any coincidence tonight that at the ballpark, sitting in the diamond seats, we have Lachey and Bieber in the ballpark on the same night.
How about that?
Is there something to that? There's Nick Lachey.
There could be. There could be. He's playing a big concert. I talked to him for a long time. They're going on. They're kind of like an experiment. 98 degrees, along with the Backstreet Boys, are playing a show. I think he said in Oklahoma over this weekend, and he's in town to get together with the boys in the band. Of course, they're all Cincinnati guys right here to start getting ready again. And it's very interesting talking to him about that whole business side of the music world. Of course, he's branched off into so many other areas, but boy, what a very pleasant guy. Never forgotten where he came from, sitting there with John Burns, of course. And we always like seeing him.
Hey, you know, next weekend, not this weekend coming up, but when the Reds are in Chicago next weekend, that's Players Weekend. It's when the players put their nicknames or their favorite little sayings or something on their backs instead of their names. And Shane Bieber will have on his back, not Justin.
Very nice. How many times do you think he's been asked that the last few years? You related to Justin Bieber? Justin Bieber is Canadian, if I'm not mistaken. And Shane Bieber is from Southern California. Three and two on Billy. 1 out, nobody on. Last of the second inning. And Bieber to the plate. He's not walked a batter. And we mentioned that he just has outstanding control. And it goes all the way back to his college days. In his college career at UC Santa Barbara, he struck out 237 batters in college, and he walked in his career 38 hitters. 3-2. Bouncing ball foul. But the Reds jumped on Bieber for 3 runs in that opening inning, and man, they hit some rockets. A double by Peraza. Jeanette's was more of a soft liner in the right field to knock in a run, but Tucker, a rocket for a 2-run home run. Same for Barnhart with a double. There's a fly ball to center field, and Unable to get it as Allen. This will be an easy double for Billy Hamilton.
Right out on the end of the bat, Billy did a good job hanging in there just to make contact in that at bat. Eight of them in a row now for Billy.
So here's Jose Peraza. He doubled to right center field and scored the Reds' first run. This time he lifts a pop-up into short right center, and Allen will give way to Melky Cabrera. 2 down, and Hamilton stays put. If a Red, it's a home run off that Toyota sign tonight. Abby Smith up in Oxford, Ohio. Home of Miami University will win the beautiful tundra you see here at the ballpark, thanks to your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Good luck. A lot of day baseball in the major leagues earlier today, including a Pirate loss in Minnesota. Told you about the Cubbies beating Milwaukee. These two teams not particularly gracious to one another on a travel day. When the Reds were in Cleveland earlier this year, they played a night game. Got into St. Louis, I think it was, somewhere around like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And here the final game of this series, a night game. Cleveland a short trip home, but it'll be a late night. Reds are off tomorrow. And then the Giants come to town beginning on Friday night. 1-0 on Joey Votto. He flied out to center his first time up. A breaking ball gets away. Perez will throw down and no chance to get Hamilton.
Well, all of a sudden now Shane Bieber is just as wild as can be out there. It's almost like that pitching mound has become a Bermuda Triangle.
Slicing into left field, and back to get it is Brantley to end the inning. We played 2. 3-2, Cleveland trailing the Reds.
Two, the Reds lead as we head to the top of the third inning. As you look at Cody Reid, you might notice something a little different about his glasses. Gone are the goggles that he wore since 9th grade.
So they gave these to me in spring training, and I just was like not going to wear them, right? I was just going to be like, I can't change. And I had a not a rough start, but like a shortened start, and our trainer was like, you need to change something up. So I grabbed these. I wore them for my bullpen just to see how they feel, and then I was like, all right, I'll bring them out. And I think I threw like 7 scoreless innings or something. I was like, okay, well maybe these are the ticket now.
Boy, you talk about superstitions, guys. That is a huge one. He still carries those goggles with him. His old ones taped together. He has worn them for over 10 years.
That's good stuff, Pick. Thank you very much. There's a base hit into left field by Yonder Alonso to begin his Cleveland third inning.
Yeah, that's good hitting, too, by Alonso. Sometimes you make a good pitch, and a good hitter figures out a way to beat you. Look at that pitch on the outer part of the plate, if even in the strike zone. Alonso's a long way away from home plate. Hits it late and beats the shift.
Double play ball here if they can turn it over, and they do with Melky Cabrera running. So that's what Cody Reid was looking for. Here's Kipnis. And it's a fly ball to center. And that's a good way to do it for Cody Reid. All right. Maybe he's got it going on here tonight. Presented by our friends from Presco. This year's concert features Dove award-winning band 10th Avenue North. They'll be live on the field after the Reds and the Padres. September the 8th. Tickets are available now for as low as $12. Visit Reds.com today. That'll be a 4:10 first pitch, and the concert will follow afterwards. Eugenio Suarez to lead things off. Reds with a 3-2 lead, and Bieber out there on the mound. He's piling up the pitches in this game, 48 of them through the first couple of innings. He did strike out Suarez, and it looked at the time like a really important out with the runner at third. Reds had not scored yet in that first inning, and it was the second out of the inning. But then he served up the 2-out single to Jeanette and the 2-run home run by Tucker. All 3 Reds runs coming in the first inning. Three balls and 2 strikes on Suarez. And that's off the bat and into the strike zone. Or did it hit him? What's he saying? He's saying strike 3. Suarez thought it was ball 4. But the umpire, I think, is saying that ball tipped his bat and then was hung on to by the catcher.
You know, normally when an umpire makes a call like that, he's going to use his ear to hear the ball hit the bat. We'll take a look in slow-mo and see if we can tell. I didn't see it there, but
well, it's going to be strike 3. 1 out in the inning. I mean, impossible to tell
without our super slow-mo.
Here's Scooter Gennett. He had a breaking ball down and in, ball 1. Scooter, that 2-out single to drive in the first run of the game in the opening inning, and then would score on the home run by Preston Tucker behind him. Umpire looking for some new baseballs, and the bat and boy will oblige. On the ground to the shortstop, Lindor. This should be the second out, and it is. Here comes Preston Tucker in that home run. Let's zero in on StatCast AI, powered by AWS. What jumps out at you here, Chris Welsh?
You know what I really like about that home run by Tucker? That it wasn't a solo shot. There was a man on base. And I know the StatCast and the launch angle and all the frills about seeing how far a ball goes. But man, I like those home runs that are hit with runners on. What about you? What jumps out at you on that?
I'm with you all the way. All the way. More guys on base, the better. Well, for your team anyway. Popped up. This is Ramirez over in foul ground, and he tries to get it and can't. That young man looks at him and says, hey, what'd I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. Did he make that play?
Sure looked like it.
Oh, come on. You know, he's acting like he's a little bummed out, like he did something wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. Go get it in traffic and the snow cone. It's a big league play. Yeah. That's how you want a kid to rebound right there.
And he shows it to him.
That's what you got to do. He should have turned it around, though, and shown it to him. Nicely done. Well, he's got that That poker face, doesn't he? Look at that guy. He hasn't smiled yet. Hey, smile. Hey.
That was a little one.
Come on.
Come on,
Go back to this guy. I mean, are you kidding me? He just makes a play like that. His dad smiling. Come on. Come on. Oh. His dad's talking to somebody saying, hey, listen, will you smile one time? Just smile. Hey, whoever's on the phone with dad, tell him to tell the kid to smile. Tell him. Tell him now. I know, but tell him to smile. It's one of the best plays we've seen all year long. They're obviously not watching the game. They're watching a rerun of Hogan's Heroes. There's a bunt up the third base line. And that'll be a bunt hit. How about that? Tucker Barnard putting it down.
You know, we've seen Tucker do that. He is one of the better bunters on this ball club. And look how patient he is. He's not running out of the box at the time he makes contact. They make a play for him down there, and if this throw's on the money, they got a chance to get him. Ramirez with a barehanded throw, but it goes down the baseline and against the screen. Look where Kipnis is. He's right there to pitch it off back to Alonso at first base, because Barnhart, as soon as he makes a move towards second, he becomes a live runner. Got to get back to the bag. That's one of those rules that is sometimes misinterpreted by a lot of people. They think that if you run down the first baseline, if you turn the wrong way, you could be put out. And it's only if you make a move towards second base.
That's a foul ball off the bat of Urban. Let's see if the Reds can get another two-out hit. All three of the runs they scored in the first inning came with 2 outs. Off the end of the bat, fly ball in the center field, and this should end the inning. The Reds will strand 2. All right. Said smile. Charlie's, home of the Free Pie Wednesdays. By your local Ford dealer, Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, now ranked number 2 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. We played 3 innings tonight in downtown Cincinnati on this beautiful Wednesday night. And the Reds got 3 in the first, Indians 2 in the second, off of Robert Stevenson, the starter tonight, who lasted an inning and 2/3, walked 4 batters, and gave up 2 earned runs. And Cody Reid has come in throwing strikes. 1 pitch, 1 out to get Greg Allen to start the 4th inning.
Really nice job so far by Reed. Came in and get out of the inning that was left over by Stevenson in the second. Gave up a first batter ground ball base hit opposite field there by Alonso. Just a good bit of hitting, and then got a double play, a fly ball, easy ground ball. You know, Reed, to me, and we haven't seen a whole lot of him, Tom, but it looks like he's just backed off.
I agree.
A little bit.
Yep.
And that is so important.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. Just on the mound, he looks like a different guy, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
Now, when you say back off, though, you're talking about backing off on the stuff, right?
On the effort level. It doesn't mean you're not trying as hard, but you're not throwing every pitch at 100%. It's not a long drive contest out there, okay? You have to be able to throw the ball where you want to. And it takes a while a lot of times for pitchers to figure out what that effort level is, where I can maximize my control and my stuff. Once you find that spot, that little happy zone where Corey Kluber's in, for instance, then you're going to be able to throw the ball over the zone, and you're going to find out whether you can get big league hitters out or not.
I mean, look, I made the comments earlier about just watching the body language of Stevenson on the mound, right? And now look at Reed conversely. So everything you talked about last night, and he looks so much more relaxed, and he wasn't this way when we've seen him in the big leagues the last couple of years. He looked very nervous. And right now, anyway, and I only know it's not even 2 innings, exactly 2 innings into this outing, but he just looks like a different guy. Perez flied out to left field, his only time up. Have the pitcher Bieber on deck. He's not throwing the ball especially well tonight, but he's managed to strand 4 runners and given up 3 runs. That's strike 3 called. Upper end of the strike zone. First strikeout for Cody. That's a nice pitch.
Little slider that just hung right there for a little bit, right on the edge of the zone.
And Reed doesn't waste any time out there. I mean, he gets the ball and he is ready to go right now. He's one of the quickest workers that I think I've ever seen in the big leagues. I mean, he is on the rubber and ready to go right now. One ball and 2 strikes on the pitcher Bieber. Remember, all these guys that are coming up from the minor leagues, they are pitching with a pitch clock in the minor leagues. And that's at every level in minor league baseball.
That's a great point because, you know, maybe the first few times out there you think about the pitch clock, but after that it becomes part of your whole routine. You get the ball and go, get the ball and go, and you carry it on up here because it's worked for you down there.
Ground ball to short, and Cody Reed puts together his second impressive inning. 1-2-3 this time. It's good to see.
The Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
History brought to you by Geico. August 15th of 2011, Jim Thome hits his 600th home run as a member of the Minnesota Twins. He is the second fastest to Babe Ruth by number of at-bats to 600 home runs. Thome was inducted into the Hall of Fame just last month. 22 seasons, 276 average, 612 home runs, 1,699 RBI, a five-time All-Star, 13 seasons with the Indians. And man, what a great one he was there. 337 homers, 1,008 walks. And there you see the numbers for Jim Thome, the class of 2018 in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. And a great person as well.
There is no doubt about that. Small town Illinois guy, and I mean as good as they come, and always was, even when he was the great star during his heyday with the Tribe. What a guy. Never forgot where he came from.
Boy, did he have some opposite field power.
Oh.
I mean, lay back and rip that ball to left center field. Wow. Second time Cody Reid gets the lead off.
So Bieber starts this bottom of the fourth inning. His 67th pitch coming up. Reds have had at least one base runner against him in each of the first three innings. We're only in the bottom of the fourth.
It's a little different Bieber than I expected to see, really, Tom. I had heard and read about his command, about how he was always around the strike zone. And tonight, you know, maybe not as much as he has been in the past. You know, he's about 62% strikes tonight, and he's usually a guy that's up around 75% strikes. That'll help him.
Swinging is Reed. That's a fourth strikeout for Bieber. Redlegs and the Giants this weekend, and Saturday be one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates. You'll get a Scott Schebler bobblehead presented by PNC Bank. Reds and the Giants. You can be here for as low as $12. Visit Reds.com. 7:10 first pitch. Friday, Saturday, and then an afternoon till Sunday. Rodriguez will start Friday night against East Clafani. Madison Bumgarner healthy again, throwing the ball very, very well, an ERA at 2.7. He's up against Matt Harvey Saturday night. And then Luis Castillo against Suarez. Fly ball to center field. And that'll be the second out of the inning. Hamilton, who doubled his first time up, a fly ball to center this time, and now Peraza. Peraza doubled to lead off the game into right center field and scored a run, and then he flied out to short right field in the second inning. Popped up behind the plate, and Perez over to get it. That's a nice running catch to retire the side. A perfect fourth. First perfect inning of the game for Bieber. Go to the fifth. 3-2. Reds in front.
He's the player of the week. He's the first Tortuga player to win it 2 times this season. All he did last week was hit 500, 3 doubles, 5 homers, 8 RBI. He had another home run last night, giving him 30 on the year. He's the first player with 30 homers in the Florida State League since 2004. And how about Aristides Aquino? Hit his 18th home run on Sunday. That is also a record for them. And he still has 19 games to go to add on to that. Last season, he had 17 home runs, which tied him for the lead there. Broke it this year with 18. Guys?
Isabel was a player you may remember they received for Ariel Hernandez. So, Pick, thank you very much. It's good to see he's doing so well.
You're right. He's a big dude. I mean, he's 6'4", 225 pounds, maybe bigger than that now. Had 28 home runs last year. And if you can hit that many home runs in the Florida State League, because you're playing in some ballparks down there where the ball just simply does not carry. And they are big ballparks. That kid's got some serious power.
And a bouncing ball to the shortstop. Peraza charging. Lindor can get up the line. A good play by Jose Peraza.
But they're just not squaring up Cody Reed at all here. Right out of the end of the bat. Smooth on the part of Peraza.
Now, unless I've missed it somewhere, and perhaps I have, but Chris, I have not heard any discussion about Cody Reed getting regular starts in the rotation. I mean, the Reds right now have a 6-man starting rotation. Everybody thought that would go down to 5 when they, would trade Matt Harvey. That hasn't happened yet. It's not to say it still can happen, but he'd have to get through waivers. And the Reds made the comment that Robert Stevenson is going to get starts moving forward this season.
I would imagine that, nothing is written in stone. I mean, if Robert Stevenson continues to pitch like this, you can't pitch him from now through the end of the season. And the 6-man rotation is one that I think the Reds are the only team in baseball that are doing this. You're basically having your pitchers pitch once a week, and you're still going to carry a full load of relievers. So that means your bench is one man short every game. And you basically hand tie your manager by the moves that he can make because of that. Remember, one of those guys on the bench has got to be your backup catcher. So I don't see the six-man rotation going on forever. I don't know how it's going to be fixed, but I know that there are pitchers in the rotation not real happy about it, and I don't blame them.
Well, I can tell you, I'll be completely honest with you. How many of them have a leg to stand on?
Well, true.
I mean, you know, come on, let's be honest about it. I mean, if we're talking about Corey Kluber and Carrasco, and we're talking about Bauer, and you're fooling around with a six-man rotation, I get it.
Well, how does it help the manager?
Good point there. And I know that's something that a lot of guys don't want to hear, but it's just, that's the truth.
Well, I mean, you know, I've always felt that the minor leagues are there for a reason. They're there to develop, and they're also there for a fear factor. If you're in the major leagues and you don't play well, they're there for you, to give you a little extra motivation. And if you don't use it as that, then you lose that fear factor. I mean, this isn't the level at which you're developing up here. This is the level at which you're trying to put people in the seats, people watching and listening. And you do that by putting W's on the board.
But as we know, there's also that word that's out there that if you follow it long enough, you'll get to the answer. Follow the money. And there's some guys that aren't getting W's that are getting paid a lot of money.
Well, I agree. I think that's happened in every organization.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it in every business.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I'm not implying the Reds are alone in that regard.
I just think that the Reds have some very hard decisions to make. And they've got to be very smart about their evaluation of their own players. And the Major League season only lasts so long. So this is when you've got to start making your decisions while the games are being played this summer right now.
10th pitch of this at bat, and Reed, did he put him away? Are they saying it's a foul ball? Thought man, it must have hit the dirt before Barnhart caught it. Yeah, he fouled the ball off.
That's the difference between a foul ball and a foul tip.
And that's a second consecutive ball fouled off by Brantley. Reed shaking off Barnhart a couple of times. 11th pitch of this at bat coming up. There'll be a 12th. Reed not backing down, coming with the gas. Boy, what an outstanding piece of pitching that is right there by oh, boy. Did he get him out? He got him out. Scooter's been doing that a lot lately. That while he's on the move, slinging it almost underhand. Saw this a couple of times in a game last night. That's a really nice play by Joey. But back to the original point was, how about Cody Reed? I mean, there's no way that he wins that kind of at bat the last 2 years when he's pitching in a big league game.
Well, that's why the minor leagues are there.
There's no way he wins a 13 pitch at bat against Michael Brantley. There would have been a walk long before we got to the 13th pitch. He looks like a whole different guy out there. It's great to see. We certainly hope that we'll see more of it. High fly ball into left field. This will stay in the yard. Boy, what a night so far for Cody Reed. He's retired 8 in a row. FS1, these Central Division leading Indians will take on the Baltimore Orioles, and then the Brewers take on Matt Carpenter and the Cardinals. That's a big series. Coverage begins 3 Eastern on FS1. We're streaming live on the Fox Sports app. That's a huge series. The Cardinals and the Brewers are separated by 1 game as of right this moment, after the Brewers lost earlier today to the Cubs, and the Cardinals are just getting going. They lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning 1-0. Cardinals win that game. It will be a 1-game spread. And then the 2 teams will meet over the weekend. Joey Votto to lead things off against Bieber. Reds in front 3-2. Reds got all 3 of their runs in the very first inning.
Yeah, Bieber's quietly putting it together as well. 23 years old. Bieber gave up 3 runs in the first inning. 2 of them came on that home run by Preston Tucker. Votto's hit the ball well a couple of times, sending the outfielders all the way to the warning track, but nothing falling in there for him. Batting average now down to 286.
Votto's on base percentage is actually higher now than his slugging percentage this year. .423 on base percentage, a .421 slugging percentage.
Well, that difference is going to continue to increase because he just had a leadoff walk.
That's a second walk given up by Bieber. And coming up later on, we'll have our Hold True moment presented by Miller Lite.
Got a little trip to the mound by Carl Willis, one of the all-time good guys. He was a Red for a short period of time in the mid-'80s, Carl was.
North Carolina boy, as I recall, isn't he?
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yes, pretty country.
Now he lives in the Durham area.
Boy, that area has exploded.
You know, he's an example of a guy who's an old-time type pitching coach, but is readily adapted to all the analytics and the advanced sabermetrics and so on. Had a great conversation with him the other day about, you know, the things that are important to teams now as far as pitching. You know, he was with the Red Sox. Said that the amount of information that he was given to prepare for a series is just incredible. But he had to figure out a way to get through that information and basically boil it down so his pitching staff could understand what was going on. He left them in pretty good shape.
Yeah, Carl pitched for the Reds in 1984, 85, and 86. Pitched a year for the White Sox, and then had some really nice years pitching for Minnesota. Won a World Series in '91. You know, I saw something and was reminded of it here a few minutes ago that we know that Huntington, West Virginia, that's one of our big stops on the Reds caravan.
Sure
that's
is.
The home, of course, of Marshall University. And, you know, many of you will remember that horrific plane crash years ago of the Marshall football team. Well, the young quarterback of what they called the Young Thundering Herd, Reggie Oliver, that was the year after the plane crash at Marshall. He passed away today. And I mean to tell you, absolutely loved in Huntington, West Virginia. Just an incredible man, an incredible young man when he was playing, and then an older man. So our thoughts and prayers to all those who mourn the death of Reggie Oliver. Here's a ground ball foul wide of third. Two and two to count on Suarez. Leadoff walk to Votto.
Boy, no secret the way the Indians want to pitch Suarez, which is basically in and tight. trying to pick the lower down inside part of the strike zone there. That time it got away from Bieber and came upstairs a little bit.
3-2 to Suarez. And that's strike 3 call.
Boy. In, then the outside corner.
Struck out 3 straight times as Suarez against Bieber tonight. So now it'll be Scooter Gennett. An RBI single with 2 outs in the 3-run first inning, and then grounded out to Lindor in the 3rd. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Reds, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Indians. And the story, at least right now, is the pitching of Cody Reid. 3 1/3 innings behind starter Robert Stevenson. He has only allowed 1 base runner. That was a single by Alfonso leading off the 3rd inning. He got a double play off the bat of Cabrera, starting a string of 8 straight retired for Reed. Base hit right field by Gennett, his 2nd hit. Watching Votto run right now is painful.
The 2nd base hit by Gennett really into right field, same way as the first one. And Votto really scuffling going from bag to bag there.
That's going to be it for Bieber. Is one of his shorter stints in a game this year, and he gives up 2 runs, but of course he leaves with 2 on and 1 out here in the 5th. Left-hander Oliver Perez will take over when we come back to face Preston Tucker. Of the 5th inning, and the Reds with a 1-run lead, and they're threatening for more. Oliver Perez, he spent time in spring training with the Reds this season. Let him go, and the Indians picked him up. He's really done a nice job for them.
Actually, he'd been picked up by the Yankees in the meantime. He was down there in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, pitching for the Yankee AAA organization, then signed a contract with the Cleveland Indians a major league contract on June the 2nd. Broke in when he was 23 years old. He is now 36.
And really, he's done it all. He was originally a starter when he came to the big leagues, and now they're paying him money to bring in against left-handed batters, which he's asked to do here against Preston Tucker.
Boy, when he first broke in, he was one of those guys you just loved to hate. I mean, he was a hot dog. He'd almost he'd show you up a little bit if he struck you out, run on and off the mound. Just did all the things to kind of irritate you because he was on the other team. He pitched some very good games against the Reds early in his career.
One and one to Preston Tucker. Breaking ball dropped foul off to the third base side. Tucker hit a 2-run home run to deep right center field, his first as a Red in the first inning, and then drew a walk against Bieber in the third.
This is another one of these learning experiences for those who are doing the evaluating for the Reds. I mean, you know what Tucker can do on a fastball from a right-hander. He launched it into the moon deck here earlier tonight. But a lot of times, you know, you bring him up, they're going to bring in a lefty specialist. How does he handle this at bat with Oliver Perez? Probably going to get a steady diet of breaking balls. Oh, try to sneak a fastball in there.
And he's still got a little bit of a fastball.
You're not kidding.
Well, he came right after him with another fastball at 92 miles per hour. And got him on a bouncer to Alonso, 2 gone. Now, do they leave him in? I mean, you have a switch hitter in Barnhart here, so probably makes sense. Rather see him from the right side than the left side. Runners at second and third. Breaking ball clearly getting away from Perez there.
Pretty good grab there by Perez, the catcher.
Fastball in there again at 92, a strike. And snaps off a dandy of a breaking ball to get ahead 1-2. Votto the runner at third. Out at second base, it's Scooter Gennett. 2 outs. We're just in the bottom of the 5th inning. And a pitch. I am stunned how many fastballs we have seen Perez throw to these 2 batters. Are you?
I am too, actually. I thought we'd see more breaking balls against Preston Tucker, the lefty, but I'm not really surprised here with Barnhart once he showed you that he could throw at 92, 93. Plenty firm enough. Just trying to go up the ladder here against Barnhart.
See what he does here on 2 balls and 2 strikes. Came with another fastball. That one in 91 up and away from him.
Perez is really the definition of what you know, the acronym LOOGY is, the left only one guy. He is coming into this ballgame pitching 31 games, but a total of 19 innings.
He did not go around on the appeal to the first base umpire, Chad Whitson.
Well, it's Barnhart's his last guy. They got Danny Otero, the right-hander, warming up in the bullpen right now.
Three balls, 2 strikes, and here it comes to Barnhart, ball 4, and you better believe we'll see the pitching change now with Phillip Urban. This guy has just torn up left-handed pitching, and here comes Terry Francona. So Perez goes a third of an inning, gets an out, walks a batter, and we'll see Otero from the Cleveland bullpen here in the 5th inning. Third pitcher they've used already in this game. Back with more in a moment. From 700 WLW, we call it the Reds Fan Cam. You can answer Reds trivia, win prizes, be a part of Reds Live, the Fan Cam from the Holy Grail, 6 o'clock on Friday night. So here we go yet again, another chance for the Reds to send a batter to the plate with the bases loaded.
Well, what we've seen from Phillip Urban, he'll face Dan Otero, right-hander, comes in. Been around a few years, holding right-handed hitters down to a batting average in the 220s. But what we've seen from Phillip Urban is very aggressive early in the count. I mean, he comes up there ready to swing the bat. Especially on pitches up in the zone.
Ball 1 to Urban. The Reds have 47 hits this season with the bases loaded. And they'll leave them loaded on the fly ball. If you're wondering, the most ever in a season, 49 for a Reds team.
from Jose Urena and drills him in the left elbow. Look at this shot again. He went down. He stayed down on the ground for about 2 minutes. The bench is emptied. Acuna then started to first base, threw his protective shield kind of towards the mound, and they opened up again. Schnitger, the manager of the Braves, was thrown out of the game, as was Urena. Acuna led off a game with 3 straight games with home runs against Miami. He's got home runs in 5 straight games, 8 home runs in his last 8 games. And he tried to go out in the field. He could not play, had to leave the game. Urena is the 4th pitcher all time to be ejected for hitting the first hitter of the game on the first pitch. The last was John Lackey back in 2009, fellas.
Boy, and Brian Snitker was livid. Did you see his face?
Reason.
Wow. Braves lead that game, by the way. They've gone to the 5th inning. It's 3-2. Boy, you sure hope that young man's okay. He's already been injured earlier this season, missed a lot of playing time after they initially brought him to the big leagues. Remember, he made his major league debut in his ballpark.
Yeah.
All right, here's Cody Reed. He's retired 8 in a row. 3-0 pitch to Yonder Alonso. Is in there a strike. This is the only man to reach base since Reed came into the game in the 2nd inning. Alonso had a single into left field. Oh boy, where was that? First walk given up by Reed. What are you seeing right now, Chris, out of Cody Reed that you like?
As I said earlier, Tom, I just like his pace. I mean, his internal clock seems to have been dialed down a little bit. That effort level going from 100% down to about 90%, where he can really control the ball. Even now when he's missing, he's not missing by much. This is a new and improved Cody Reed.
Well, you're not lying. All right, now you don't want to, get ahead of ourselves here a little bit. Reed's got work to do. I mean, this pitch count's nothing for him. He's been starting all year long down in the minor leagues. High fly ball into left field will back up Tucker and flies out of here. Most ballparks, that's not reaching the seats, but it does here.
I don't think it reaches the seats in Cleveland.
Melky Cabrera.
It's another reason why it's never been tougher to pitch than it is right now. Of course, that's a pretty good spot for hitting right there.
So just like that, the Indians take the lead. 4-3 game. And a breaking ball in there, a strike to Jason Kipnis. Breaking ball, jammed it. 1 out. Second hit, first 2 runs given up by Cody Reed.
Well, the leadoff walk kind of set the stage for that. If you give up a solo shot, you got a tie ball game, but to follow up a walk with a home run, that's the one that really stings. Indians only have 4 hits on the night.
Yeah, they had 2 against Stevenson in an inning and 2/3, but he walked 4 batters.
2 batters who have walked have scored, so half the runs have gotten on base by the base on balls. Reed may be getting a little bit fatigued. I mean, I know he's been pitching as a starter and so on, but I think it's mental fatigue more than his physical fatigue. I mean, you're pitching against big leaguers. You're on the edge on every pitch. You're not really relaxing because it's a 1-run ball game. And that's what wears you out. And I think Jim Riggleman sees it now, and he's going to go to the bullpen.
They have Jarrod Hughes down there. Hey, but all in all, yes, he gave up a 2-run home run in this inning, but there were certainly some things to to look forward to watching Cody Reed pitch here tonight. And we'll see what role that might be in for Reed. Whether he'll get a chance to start some games as Hughes comes sprinting in from the bullpen. Back in a moment. So far 2 runs. Still dumbfounded by that ball that left the ballpark. Mason Williams, part of a double switch, will replace Phillip Urban in right. And now on to pitch it is Jarrod Hughes. He is having as good a year as any pitcher there is in Major League Baseball for what he is paid and asked to do.
Hughes has not been a guy that has normally pitched multiple innings. In fact, going back to July the 13th, he's only pitched multiple innings more than once. So you wonder maybe why the switch. They're doing the double switch to be better defensively. You get Mason Williams, good defender in right field. You move Phillip Urban, a superior defender from Preston Tucker, into left field. So just a good opportunity to improve your defense right here. I don't think there's any intention for seeing, Jarrod Hughes to go ahead and pitch multiple innings. You just already got your lineup set up next inning when Mason Williams will come up as the leadoff hitter.
Yep. Here's Perez with a count of 1-1. Looked like he went around. It's a strike anyway. One and two, the count on Perez. Did he get time out there?
He got time out, and Jarrod Hughes continued with the pitch, which is the right thing to do because a batter can step out. And if he doesn't get time out and you step out of the batter's box, the pitcher should continue the pitch. And you can see the umpires will call time because it'll be a ball or a strike if the umpire never does grant time.
And that would have been a strike. Strike 3. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hughes' ERA already starts in the 1, but You know, you look at his last, this being the 38th appearance. He has given up 5 earned runs in 43 1/3 innings. That is a 1.04 earned run average for Jarrod Hughes. Wow. That was a little bit low and he didn't go around. So after getting ahead of Perez at 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count goes full. We are in the top of the 6th inning. 3-2 pitch coming. Will they start the runner? Got to believe they will. Yep. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. Got him there too. Yep. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play. Ho hum for Jarrod Hughes
and Tucker Barnhart.
They might want to look at this. Umpires and many on the field are. Find it hard to believe that they're going to overturn this.
They're not even going to ask for a review.
No, I'm not surprised at all. But a 2-run home run in the inning by Cabrera. Indians in front by a run. Here you can be here for as low as $12. Then stick around after the game. Fireworks show presented by Sprint. For tickets, visit Reds.com. Reds and Fox Sports Ohio would love to send a big happy birthday to Betty Stewart up in Wilmington, Ohio. What a beautiful little town that is. Celebrating her 90th birthday. She's dialed in at home tonight watching the game with her daughter and her son-in-law. Betty Stewart of Wilmington, Ohio. Happy number 90. Tyler Olson now takes over on the mound for the Indians.
They just called up Tyler on Tuesday, and he'll be kind of an extra arm in the bullpen for the next couple of days until Trevor Bauer's time comes around, and they'll probably bring up a young man, Adam Plutko, who's expected to be called up to start Saturday's game. So Terry Francona has an extra arm, and here he is out of the bullpen, a left-hander.
Brandon Dixon. Dixon is actually batting for Mason Williams. Boy, this is quite interesting here. You brought in Mason Williams to play defense for one batter. and then you hit for him when the other team brings in a left-hander to start an inning.
Well, when you're down to the few number of reserve players on your bench that you have, you burn a guy without ever really getting him a chance to do anything except warm up his arm. Hey, I got to tell you though, Tom, Twitter right now is a buzz with your knowledge of boy bands.
Oh, stop
I'm
it.
telling you, there's a tweet, member of Twitter out
Stop
there named
it.
Tony Rose.
Well, if he would have listened to what I said, there wouldn't even be any discussion on this, because I was with Nick Lachey before the game, and he was the one telling me about all this.
And he wants to know if you can tie in Color Me Bad or New Kids on the Block along with 98 Degrees. And, you know, I know you didn't stay around for the Jake Owen concert, but if the New Kids on the Block were happen to come in here next year,
I'd be on the field, man, no doubt about it.
Good.
No
Good to
doubt.
know that.
As long as I'm hanging out with Lachey.
And Tony, by the way, Tony Rose, big follower of the Reds, and Fox down in Bowling Green, Kentucky, another one of our caravan
Yeah, it
stops.
is. Great stop. I really don't know anything about the boy bands. I mean, we're jacking around and having some fun with this. I really don't. The only thing I know about him is I really think Nick Lachey is
okay.
a really cool guy.
It's totally okay.
I mean, I like Boy George and the Culture Club. So, you know, I mean, boy bands, you know, it is what it is. I got that off your iPad, as I recall.
I'm wondering maybe you had the original boy band there in Ohio, at Ohio U.
And Anderson High School is where that started. Because only men go to Ohio University. There are no boys there. Back-to-back strikeouts for Olson. And now a quick message from Miami Valley Gaming.
Get ready to get lucky.
That almost hit Peraza, that breaking ball on the back knee. Or back thigh. So Terry Francona behind his starter uses a left-hander Perez for an out, Otero for an out, and now brings in Olson. Into left center field. This will be another multi-hit game for Peraza. This got 3 bases written all over. Is he making a turn? No, he's going to stop with 2 outs, not make the final out there at third base, and give Votto a chance to knock him in. 2 doubles tonight for Peraza.
Really good looking swing on a breaking ball. He read it the entire way and stayed back. Boy, his swing just looks better and better. Dan watching him take batting practice yesterday, and it's just really impressive how far Peraza has come.
That's a tying run out there with the Reds down 1. Here's Votto's fly to center, fly to left, and drawn a walk. One and 0 to Votto, tying run out there at second, and it's in there, a strike.
Votto kind of leaned into that ball and looked like he was going to try to get that ball hit him. First getting out of the way and then realizing it's a breaking ball, I'll stick my right arm out there. That's about as good a curveball as Olsen can throw right there. I mean, started it at a perfect spot. Votto reads it as a strike the entire way and just swings over the top of it.
I bet that spin rate was off the charts.
I don't know if you want to come right back with that same pitch, though. Right after Votto went to school on it.
He did, and he came with a fastball and beat him at 88. The Professor, Chris Welsh. The Professor. The crafty left-hander. Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Friday night. Check out the numbers for Mr. Rodriguez.
We don't know much about Derek Rodriguez except that he's 6-1 with a 2.2 earned run average. He'll take on Anthony DeSclafani. DeSclafani's throwing the ball as well as anybody the Reds have had for a while now. Bumgarner and Harvey, a couple of veterans there, and then Andrew Suarez and Luis Castillo. You know
Rodriguez is. Look at that face. Let's put that back up here in a second. After this pitch, think of somebody named Rodriguez, and who does this guy look like? We'll put it back up there here in a minute. Who does that look like that you've known before named Rodriguez?
Is he in a boy band?
Yeah, the name of the boy band was Pudge Rodriguez.
Oh.
They operated out of Puerto Rico for a long time. You probably missed them. And they play a lot of shows in Arlington and Detroit. For a number of years, they got started in Miami. Yes, that is his son of Hall of Fame catcher Pudge Rodriguez.
And it sure is, and we'll also welcome Casey Kelly coming in with the Giants, the son of Pat Kelly, the bench coach for Jim Riggleman.
Boy, how excited do you
Great
think
to see him make it to the major leagues this year.
Rajai Davis, a pinch hitter, has gone on strikes. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts for Jarrod Hughes. Boy, Boy, Terry Francona is getting these relievers in the game and right out of the game. 1/3 from Perez, 1/3 for Otero. 1 inning for Olsen. Hot smash and a catch made by Suarez off the bat of Lindor.
Got to be ready, and he was. Or Lindor, I guarantee you, coming off the bat was just so sure that was going to be a base hit.
One ball and 1 strike on Michael Brantley. And that misses low and away. 2 balls and a strike on Brantley. Pulled to the right side. Votto will feed Hughes at the bag, and Jarrod making it look easy out there. Reds will come to the plate, trailing by a run, last of the 7th. Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Ram. It's a no comparison event at your Ram dealer. Don't miss the great deals on Ram today. Once more to the bullpen. He was their closer, no longer. Is Cody Allen. Perhaps will get a chance to pitch himself back into that role moving forward.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you're Cody Allen, you're thinking, all right, I may not be the closer right now, but the final word has not been said. They did improve their pitching. They picked up Brad Hand, left-handed reliever from the San Diego Padres. He's the closer right now.
Mr. Hand.
Talk to the hand.
Wasn't that the teacher in Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Mr. Hand.
I thought Talk to the Hand was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Might be. Spicoli. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Suarez, leading off the Reds' 7th down a run. Oh boy, that's a 4th time tonight Suarez has struck out.
And
Twice
looking, and both of them on marginal pitches. Could have gone either way. Look at this, is number 4 right here. Now that's a situation where you've got the catcher sitting so far outside that he really doesn't have to move his glove at all. But our Fox track shows it to be outside.
One ball and 1 strike on Scooter Gennett. 2 singles, a run scored, and a run batted in for Scooter tonight. Bottom fell out of that pitch. Two and 2 to count on Scooter. Fastball up in the zone, and he fouls it back to the screen. Reds down a run. There's a bat here in the last of the 7th inning. Bieber went 4 1/3, so he can't win it. Perez got an out. Otero got an out. Otero got the final out in the 5th, so I guess by definition right now they could, he would be in line for the win, just recording 1 out because the Indians got the 2-run home run by Cabrera in the 6th.
Nice catch by a young Reds fan down there with the diamond seats on the rebound, getting high fives everywhere.
Well, you like his range on that play.
Yeah.
I mean, he went a long way. He had to back up. Well, I tell you, it's the second little guy tonight we've seen make a play that hasn't smiled.
Serious biz.
On swinging is Gennett. It was pointed out by our producer Josh Hall, among others, down in our TV production truck, that maybe the reason we're not seeing some of the smiles is because in a lot of places school's starting in the next day or two. That's never a reason to stop smiling when you get a foul ball at a Major League Baseball game. Am I right or wrong?
I agree.
Never stop smiling. Here's Dielson Herrera. He's done a nice job as a pinch hitter.
To give you a little update on the Reds RBI softball team. Unfortunately, the girls were eliminated from this year's RBI World Series in Minneapolis. 6-5 extra inning loss to the team from Tampa, the Southwest Regional champs, but they won their 2 previous games and they made it a long way.
Congratulations to them.
Congratulations, definitely. The first ever trip to the RBI World Series for the Reds RBI softball team, and many, many more. What they will take with them, though, is that they did eliminate the 9-time defending champions from Cleveland.
That's right.
8-6 in order to get there. They did that on Sunday, a couple of weeks ago.
The only player left on the Reds bench is Curt Casale. I mean, that was the move made by Jim Riggleman when he brought in for defense Mason Williams and put him to lead off the next inning. Williams was on the field for 1 out. And when the Reds came to the plate in the bottom of the 6th inning of a 1-run game, Riggleman pinch hit Brandon Dixon for Mason Williams. And Dixon did not stay in the game. So you basically used, over the course of 2 batters, one by Cleveland, one by the Reds, you used 2 of your 4 position players. And now by using Herrera, you have 1 left. Allen strikes out the side. He's making a statement. He wants that closer's job back. They got a 2-out single by Jeanette to drive in Peraza, who had doubled to lead off the game. And then the next batter, Preston Tucker, after getting a couple of hits last night, hit his first home run as a Red. A 2-run blast to right center, off and running, leading 3-0. Robert Stevenson gave up runs early, lasting an inning and 2/3. Cody Reid looked very strong, retiring at 1.8 in a row over his 3 2/3 innings, but then allowed the fly ball home run off the bat of Melky Cabrera. That came in the 6th, giving the Indians the 1-run lead, and that's where we stand as David Hernandez will take over in the 8th, 4-3 Tribe in front. He'll be facing Ramirez, Alonso, and Cabrera. You know, really the only 2 free agents the Reds signed this offseason. And they weren't going to draw big headlines in any website or publication coast to coast. But it cannot be denied that the signings of Jarrod Hughes and David Hernandez have been as good a pair of signings as any team had. I don't care if they're high-profile guys or not during the last offseason. They have both been terrific.
Well, dollar for quality inning, you'd have to go a long way to find any better. And the fact that they signed them not only for 1 year, but each of them for 2 years, gives you a little bit of a, relief to know. He thought it hit him, but it didn't. Gives you a little bit of relief to know that they don't have to go out and shop out in the marketplace again this year for these type of guys.
Three and 2 on Jose Ramirez. Straight up in the air. Barnhart for out number 1. Both teams have just had excellent work out of their respective bullpens here tonight. The Indians have not allowed a run. Now they've had to cover a shorter amount of turf than the Reds, because Stevenson, their starter, lasted just an inning and 2/3. But Reed gave up 2 and 3 2/3. Hughes an inning and 2/3. No hits, no runs, and now Hernandez to face Alonso. Jeanette will field the ground ball that Votto went after, and Jeanette feeding the pitcher in the bag, 2 down in the inning.
Actually fortunate that Votto did not field that ball. A lot easier play coming from Jeanette, who's in stationary position. Kind of laughing about it right now. We'll take a look. Look how far Votto goes to get in the way of this ball. And you can see there the way Votto is running. He's really painful to move.
2 down, and now Melky Cabrera, who had the big home run off Cody Reed, giving the Indians his current lead that came in the 6th.
Well, the way this game started out, I would never guess it would be 4-3 here in the 8th inning. 5 runs scored in the first inning and a half.
Left side of the infield, and that's handled by Suarez. What a dominant inning that was by David Hernandez. Not a ball left the infield against the heart of the order. Chris hit for the cycle. He had that rare triple. Remember that last night? That was sort of misplayed down there by Brandon Geyer.
All the way down the right field line and kicked around down there. And 4 for 9. He had a really good series here.
And he had a bunt for the single earlier in the game tonight to cap it off. Cody Allen going back out there for a second straight inning. Brandon Geyer replacing Melky Cabrera now in right field for the Indians. 2 balls and no strike. Allen struck out the side in the 7th.
It's a pretty good 1-2 punch. You know, when you add Brad Hand to the back of your bullpen, you already have Cody Allen. Allen, you know, even though Andrew Miller was around last year, he still hung in there to become the closer all year long. Had 30 saves for the 3rd straight season. And now, you know, he scuffles a little bit this year. He loses his closer job. I guarantee he's got some extra motivation here to show the Indians that he ought to be the guy at the very end of the game.
Well, he's retired the first 4 batters since coming on in the 7th, and now he'll turn his attention to Phillip Urban.
So with Allen and Miller.
Yep.
And Brad Hand. That is a lights out back of the bullpen.
Well, you know, in essence, what they've done is they let Brian Shaw go. Yeah. And Shaw was really an extremely valuable member of this bullpen. And basically the big trio they had last year was Shaw, Miller, and Allen. And once they let Shaw go, they had hoped for a couple of other guys to be able to replace him, and it just didn't happen. And when we saw the Indians in Cleveland, you and I were you know, up there saying, how in the world is this team going to expect to compete against some of the other powerhouse clubs with this bullpen?
Yeah, well, Shaw went on to Colorado where he signed a 3-year deal.
Been a bad stay for him.
Been tough. Just came off the DL, I think, to be activated. Well, that was a while ago now. Been rough.
Yeah, he'd been really knocked around.
Well, welcome to Denver.
You got it. Phillip gone swinging for the second out. Allen has faced 5 batters and struck out 4 of them. You know, and that's the thing about this Indians team, you know. And look, they had some guys. Kluber was hurt during the postseason last year. I mean, everybody knew it, and he pitched like it. And he did not pitch like the guy that won the Cy Young Award. But when you look at this starting rotation, consider this, if you will. You go back nearly, well, over 3 weeks. In the last 3 weeks, the Indians starters have a 1.9 earned run average.
Wow.
In 19 games, they have thrown 124 innings. Think about that for a minute. They're getting 7 every night. Now, they didn't tonight. And they didn't 2 nights ago. They did last night. But now all of a sudden they've got Bauer, who's hurt. They still have Carrasco to go along with Kluber. Clevenger's been good. He wasn't great here the other night, but he's been good. As Dixon takes a strike, 2-1. He came on a pinch hit for Williams. Stayed in the game. And Brandon struck out in the 6th. Ground ball to short. Allen 6 up, 6 down. We're off to the 9th. Cleveland still with a 1-run lead. And on Saturday, if you're one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates, you'll get a Scott Schebler bobblehead presented by PNC Bank. You can be here for as low as $12. Reds v. Giants. For tickets, visit Reds.com. Are the Giants playing again tomorrow? No, they have a night game tonight, if you can believe that. So they'll travel.
Their night game is where tonight?
They're playing the Dodgers tonight, but for some reason on this schedule that I have, it's not showing up on the schedule. But I know they play the Dodgers tonight. That game is in LA. They just got started. You know what a lot of teams have started to do is they won't fly that, basically that red eye anymore.
Yeah.
It really won't even be a red eye. What a lot of teams will do now, at least some teams are doing it, and it's an interesting way to start viewing things. And we talked about it with Arizona over the weekend. They're starting to do a little bit more of that, where they spend the night in Los Angeles tomorrow, or tonight rather, and then they'll just travel out tomorrow to come to Cincinnati. That's what the Diamondbacks were doing.
How did that not hit him?
I don't know. As Iglesias takes over on the mound to begin the ninth.
Back-to-back nights for Reichel. He had 3 strikeouts and 3 batters last night. Boy, Kipnis, good dodgeball. Check the tape. That's exactly what they're going to do. I think it got him on his back leg.
By the way, they just announced, we told you at the very beginning of the game that they name a most outstanding player for the series in the Ohio Cup. They've already given that to Jose Ramirez. And why not? He hit 5 home runs, even though he's hitless tonight. 5 home runs in the first 5 games of the Ohio Cup.
Well, what a season he is having.
Let's take another look.
Let's see if we can tell if it hit Jason Kipnis. Not on the front foot. Maybe. That baggy ankle down there.
Unless they have a different angle, I don't know how you can determine that that pitch hit him from that angle we just saw.
They're going to send him to first
base.
They
must have a different angle. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one you can see it. Yep. Had not seen that one before. Yeah, that one clearly showing. Nice work by our.
Of course, Joey Votto's died down there now talking to Jason Kipnis saying, hey, that wasn't a hit by pitch. I know a hit by pitch.
Yes, he does. He got upper 90s on the right knee from Ryan Madsen.
It'd be kind of ironic, really, that Madsen was signed by the Reds, pretty big contract, 1-year deal, and never threw a pitch for the Reds, but has had an effect here on the Reds this year.
10 years later.
Yeah.
Or nearly. Swing and a miss.
Not like in the old days, though, when there were some pitchers that would keep a list inside their hat, like Stan Williams.
That's exactly right.
Steamer Stan had a list inside of his cap. And from time to time, he had to take his cap off and check if there was a pinch hitter coming up, whether the guy was on his list or not, or if he had already had a line through his name. Already got you.
Well, what a guy he was.
Unless you had to face him. Great guy.
He really was.
Really good pitching coach, too.
Yep. He had such a nice way about him. Big, gruff, tough guy, but loved to laugh. Miss him very much. Fly ball to left. Long run. Urban with a nice sliding grab. Beautifully done by Urban, and the throw just slightly offline. Will get by Votto, but not go into the camera well down there. Boy, what a nice play by Phillip Urban.
Got a good jump, came on hard. This is the best way for him to get that, kind of get down and catch that as he was bouncing off the ground. Boy, that's a really nice catch. He's a good athlete, Urban is. Man.
Yes, he is. Strike one on Roberto Perez. If you're looking ahead to the Cincinnati ninth, they'll have Billy Hamilton, Jose Peraza, Joey Votto. Any further than that, Suarez and Jeanette. That ball in the air to straightaway center off the end of the bat, and that'll be out number 2. And I would imagine we're going to see Hand take over in the ninth. There's Hand, the left-hander, cranking it up. Yandy Diaz, he had a big base hit here as a pinch hitter the other night, you may remember. That was in that 7-run 6th inning against Homer Bailey and Amir Garrett. But he drove in the first of the 7 runs with a pinch hit double into left center field. Talked about how well this guy has swung the bat when given a chance to play, and it's quite rare. There aren't exactly a lot of auditions going on for places on this Cleveland team. You know, the one area where you look at their club is this one got a piece of Tucker right off the mask. You know, the one area I'm a little surprised they didn't make an upgrade. You know, they were counting on Bradley Zimmer being their guy out there in center field, you know, for the long haul, and Greg Allen now getting all the playing time out there.
Well, they traded for Leonis Martin.
Yes.
They expected him to take over out there. And in fact, I think there were some conversations, if you believe the rumor mill, that they had inquired about Billy Hamilton. They really, I mean, Hamilton they thought would have been a perfect fit on this team. Tremendous defense. Use him as a pinch runner from time to time. In the American League lineup, you could bat him ninth, not worry about the pitcher anywhere. Good job by Iglesias.
Well, good job after hitting the first batter of the inning. All right, here we go. Reds are down a run. They bat in the bottom of the ninth. It's live, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda, standing by in a Fox Sports Ohio condominium. Yes, indeed. They're ready to roll. Hand came over from San Diego, and you see his combined numbers this year. Opponents batting under 200.
Now, when he first came up to the major leagues, he was a starter, and that was an experiment that lasted for, about 4 or 5 years, on and off with the Marlins. First the Florida Marlins in 2011, then the Miami Marlins, until he was traded to the Padres in 2016. And then in the first year that he was converted to being a reliever, he appeared in 82 games. Led the league in that category. And now, from bouncing back and forth as a spot starter to a long man to a dominant closer.
Well, his numbers in San Diego, he had 24 saves. You know, but he had a lot of decisions for a closer. 6 decisions is a lot for a closer, especially before you reach an all-star break. And Hamilton will loop one in there. This is going to fall. Good way to get it started here in the bottom of the 9th inning. That's Hamilton representing the tying run.
He hit it like he threw it. Little soft breaking ball right there, softly dropped into center field.
Well, the Indians are wondering if Peraza's up there to bunt. I'd be stunned. I mean, the way Votto's going right now, and I know he's Joey Votto, but he's not at 100%. And Peraza has 2 hits, both of them doubles. And he's been a .330 hitter for about 3 months now. Strike one.
Now this year in San Diego, Brad Hand only gave up 3 stolen bases. Make that last year, he gave up 3. This year did not give up any. The only one to try was thrown out.
One on Jose Peraza, bottom of the 9th inning. Reds trying to rally. They're down a run. And Hand quickly ahead as he was on Hamilton, a couple of strikes, and then Billy got the hit.
He's got Billy going back to the bag a little bit. Hand does. He's got holding the ball a long time. And when he did lift his leg that last time, Billy was going back to the bag. And he doesn't look like he's got the stolen base type of lead, you know, where he kind of bends down and gets into a real good starting spot. That was called by the catcher. You know, anytime you see a little thumb flip, you know, like an old marble move, you know, you're shooting a marble, that's the kind of the universal sign for the catcher to tell the pitcher to throw the ball over.
Peraza lost one into right field. It'll back up Geyer, and he can't get the ball, and it bounces over the wall. They brought in Geyer for defense. That's a routine fly ball to right field.
Well, they were playing him very shallow, which may not be a good idea when you've got the tying run at first base, playing on the road. But the ball kept going and going. I think it surprised everybody. Look at Geyer going back on this. He just can't believe it's just continuing to travel. He finally jumps, really unsure as to where he is right there. And does not look like a defensive specialist on that play.
Well, now you got a chance to win a game.
That's the idea.
Second and third, and nobody out. And you've got the heart of the order coming up. You've got Votto, Suarez, and Jeanette.
3 doubles in the game for Peraza. How about that?
And that gives him 25 of them on the year. That's the most on the team. More than Votto, more than Suarez, more than Jeanette. Now they're conceding the first run. Breaking ball snaps in there and goes for ball 1. Votto trying to be the hero here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Down a run. They're going to come to the plate. And they will get Hamilton. That's the only place on the field that you weren't going to score.
Other than the pitcher.
Well, of course. So Votto, a roller to the first baseman and a cut down Billy at the plate.
Well, I don't know whether that was a planned play ahead of time, that it was just go on contact. At the very least right there, Hamilton's got to stop and try to get in a rundown to at least get Peraza to third base. You just can't run into an out right there, can you?
That's the second time that we've seen on this homestand where the Reds have just sent a runner to the plate where you didn't have to send the runner to the plate.
Well, that's a momentum killer.
All right, now you need a knock from Suarez to tie it as opposed to just a ground ball or a fly ball. Suarez has struck out 4 times tonight. And the Reds seriously have to ask themselves how long they're going to continue to play Votto right now. It's a legitimate point. He is clearly not anywhere close to being 100%.
He'd have a hard time scoring on a triple the way he's running right now.
And that's not picking on anybody. You admire the toughness of Votto. I mean, he wants to be out there, and that's been his MO since he came to the big leagues.
See a lot of guys on the DL right now.
You got that right. And he wants to play. He feels an obligation to play. He believes that the fans who pay money, that they should see him play. And you admire that so much about Votto. But anybody who's watched this team over the last number of years and watched him the last week, he's hurt. Not hurting, he's hurt. And I know the Reds would never run him out there unless he was telling them. There's no way the trainers or the doctors or anybody like that would tell them, hey, go get out there, you're fine. It's nothing like that. Starting to rain here in the bottom of the 9th inning. One ball and 2 strikes to Suarez. He struck out swinging, struck out swinging, struck out looking, struck out looking. That wind is really starting to pick up. That rain is blowing sideways.
There's a big storm cell coming in. It's been heading this way since it went through Indianapolis a few hours ago.
And it's really starting to come down. But they're going to let him play here in the 9th inning.
Well, I mean, it is.
That was a hanger there by Hand. He got away with one.
They'll let him play until they think that there's a safety issue right now.
I mean, the fans are absolutely sprinting for cover. But they want to see what happens here in the bottom of the ninth. It's lightened up a little bit here the last minute or so. But still coming down. Two outs here in the ninth.
Now Perez wants a high fastball, and boy, he is pumped up right now. Roberto Perez, the catcher. Pretty good 1-2 punch that Brad Hand has. That curveball that he started off Suarez with, well, that's a jaw dropper. And finish him off with high heat.
All right, here's Scooter. Tying run at second. Winning run at first. Breaking ball misses outside. 1-0 to Scooter Gennett. Boy, how many 2-out hits has this guy delivered this year? So many. He had a 2-out run scoring single in the first inning tonight. He has 2 hits and 4 at-bats. Scooter waiting, and here it comes. Breaking ball outside. Now, remember, that is the pitcher spot due up next, and the Reds only have 1 player left on their bench, position player, and that would be Curt Casale.
Well, they could bat Michael Lorenzen if they wanted to.
They could. In fact, he's walking around in that dugout right now looking for a helmet. Rain has lightened up considerably where it was here 3, 4, 5 minutes ago. But still wet out there, and it's 3-0, and there you see Lorenzen. Scooter gets a fastball, 3-0. You got to let him have it rip, right?
You better believe
kind
it.
of year he's had.
Well, he already has a 3-0 base hit tonight.
Started 2, didn't look like he went. He didn't. There's ball 4. So here comes Casale.
Lorenzen's going to go out and run for Joey Votto.
Votto can't even run once he gets to the first base line. He's got to walk the rest of the way. All right, Casale, a chance to be the hero here tonight. Boy, that almost hit him. What a pick that was by Roberto Hernandez. Wow. How about that?
Boy, throw down glove, ball finds glove.
Ball and 1 strike on Casale. Breaking ball and a dandy to get ahead 1-2. Looking for the big 2-out, 2-strike hit is Jim Riggleman. And the rest of the Redlegs. 1-2 delivery on Casale from Brad Hand. And here it comes. High fly ball into right. Looking into the rain is the right fielder who hauls it in, and that'll end the game. So the Indians pull off the 3-game sweep and win the Ohio Cup 4-2. Boy, the Reds had a golden chance. Second and third, nobody out. Votto, the weak ground ball, throwing Hamilton, who broke for the plate, inexplicably out. Then you got the strikeout of Suarez. And Geyer running down the fly ball from Casale, and that sat in a 4-3 Cleveland win. Our Miller Lite hold true 9th inning moments. Otero the winner, Reed the loser, and Hand his 4th save since joining Cleveland, his 28th overall this year. Reds Live, the postgame coming up next. Stick around.